In the heart of ancient Kyoto, a young geisha named Hana dedicated herself to the art of dance and music. Her elegance and grace captivated all who beheld her. However, Hana harbored a secret longing for a life beyond the tea house. She dreamed of using her talents to inspire change and uplift her community. One day, a renowned playwright visited the tea house and was mesmerized by Hana's performance. He recognized her potential and offered her a role in his upcoming play, a story advocating for women's rights. Hana accepted the offer, knowing it was her chance to make a difference. She poured her heart and soul into the role, using her voice to challenge societal norms and inspire women to pursue their dreams. The play became a sensation, sparking a wave of change throughout Kyoto and beyond. Hana's courage and talent paved the way for future generations of women, proving that even the most delicate flower can bloom with extraordinary strength. The aged cartographer, Silas, hunched over his meticulously crafted map. His quill danced across the parchment, adding intricate details to a newly discovered mountain range. The air in his study was thick with the scent of old paper and ink. Suddenly, a raven perched on the windowsill, pecking insistently. Silas looked up, surprised. Tied to the raven's leg was a small, rolled parchment. Silas carefully untied the message. As he read, his eyes widened with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The message spoke of a hidden city, a place lost to time, rumored to hold unimaginable knowledge. He knew this could be the discovery of a lifetime, but the risks were unknown, and the journey promised to be perilous. He glanced at his maps, a fire rekindling in his eyes. Eleanor Ainsworth, a once celebrated historical fiction writer, stared blankly at her laptop screen. Writer's block had become her unwelcome companion, turning her grand historical narratives into a frustrating, fragmented mess. One dreary afternoon, while aimlessly browsing an antique shop, a peculiar object caught her eye, an ornate quill, seemingly untouched by time. The shopkeeper told her it belonged to a renowned 17th-century cartographer, Silas Blackwood. Intrigued, Eleanor purchased the quill. Back home, as she held it, a strange energy surged through her. Drawn to her desk, she dipped the quill into ink and began to write about a scene that had been eluding her. A tense negotiation between English settlers and a Native American tribe in 1642. As the ink flowed, the room around her dissolved. The familiar sounds of her apartment faded, replaced by the rustling of leaves and the distant murmur of voices speaking in a language she didn't understand. She found herself standing in a clearing, facing a group of Native Americans adorned with feathers and war paint. Across from them stood a group of stern-faced English settlers, clutching muskets. Eleanor was no longer a writer. She was an observer, transported into the very scene she was writing. The bustling city of New Shanghai awoke to the rhythmic hum of hovercars and the neon glow of holographic advertisements. It was a city where ancient traditions met futuristic technology, a melting pot of cultures and dreams. Eleanor Vance, once a celebrated author of historical novels, now stares blankly at her laptop screen. The words won't come. Success has bred cynicism, and history, once a vibrant tapestry, feels like a collection of dusty clichés. Her agent, facing dwindling sales, urges her to deliver her next book, a sweeping epic of exploration and conquest. Eleanor is uninspired. One rainy afternoon, rummaging through her late grandmother's belongings, she finds an exquisite antique, a cartographer's quill, crafted from exotic wood and tipped with a tarnished silver nib. Intrigued, she dips it into ink and hesitantly begins to write, forcing herself to imagine a scene from her historical fiction. She starts with the opening of the exploration, and suddenly the room blurs. Eleanor finds herself standing on the crowded deck of a 16th-century Portuguese caravel, the salty spray stinging her face. The air is thick with the stench of unwashed sailors and the cries of gulls. She's witnessing the launch of an expedition to chart the coast of Africa. It is the story she started to write. But, now in the story herself, the romanticized adventure in her mind is replaced by the brutal reality of life. She realizes she's not merely observing, but actively experiencing the events. She sees the fear in the eyes of the African villagers, feels the hunger of the crew, and hears the cabin boy's pleas as he's flogged. The beautiful coast is accompanied by constant danger. She witnesses a crewmate die from disease. Eleanor's quill transports her to feudal Japan, where she witnesses the harsh realities of a samurai's life and the cruelty of the feudal system. She is then thrust into the midst of a Mongol invasion, witnessing the ensuing devastation and suffering. Eleanor finds herself unable to escape the harsh realities of the lives of the characters she writes about. Distraught, she attempts to destroy the quill, but finds she cannot. She is trapped, forced to complete her book, or else be stuck in these historical moments, forever. At the lowest point, after witnessing another act of horrifying violence, Eleanor collapses. She starts to wonder if it's a punishment for her glorification of history, ignoring the realities behind it. Eleanor encounters a wise old storyteller in a village threatened by a conquering army. The storyteller shares a tale of resistance through cultural preservation and memory. This story, about the power of history and storytelling, reignites something within Eleanor, reminding her of her purpose. Using the quill one last time, she writes the story's ending, but she writes it differently. Instead of glorifying exploration or conquest, she writes of the resilience of the human spirit, the importance of understanding different perspectives, and the true cost of progress. She writes of the villagers' stories. She acknowledges the suffering that the people in her stories faced. Back in her study, the quill lies inert on her desk. Eleanor is changed. She abandons her original plan for a grand epic and begins writing a different kind of historical novel, one that explores the complexities of the past, acknowledges the suffering, and celebrates the enduring power of the human spirit. Her writer's block is gone, replaced by a newfound purpose. This time, the words flow freely. She understands that history is not just about dates and battles, but about the people, and more importantly, about their stories. And she is the one who has the power to tell them.